Reverse high five. Hey guys and girls, I'm Inhandable and welcome back to Fallout 4 Character Creator. In this episode we are going to be creating Eminem. Someone requested in a previous video, and the best face to use is this guy that's nodding and shaking his head. It's face number 4. We're going to start with this face. It's not the best sort of face to start with, but he's got a bald head, he's got sort of the stubble, which we can get rid of, but he's got the least amount of markings. So you want to go into the markings, get rid of the freckles, go into the blemishes. He's got eye socket shade, lip colour, rough face, forehead blemishes. Just remove all of those. Keep scrolling to get him as clean and neat and tidy as possible. Because he's quite sort of face. He's quite sort of face. He's quite sort of clean faced. He's quite smooth. Smooth, baby. The photo that I'm going to use, I'll put on the screen now so that you can see. And the reason why I'm not using a face camera for this is so you can sort of just concentrate more on what I'm actually doing. So we're going to go onto his chin, and we're going to choose the facial hair to match up with the picture that I posted, and he has none. So you want him nice and clean shaven. Next of all, you want his face sort of paler, because if you look at Eminem, he is very white. He's almost like a sheet of white paper. So we're going to take that down. Then we choose the hair colour. Now, the problem with Eminem is he's got two distinct sort of looks. He's got the black hair, and then he's got the blonde hair. I'm going for the black dark hair look. To go with that, with the pale skin and the smoothness, you can click on his face. Make sure that he doesn't have any wrinkles. So you've got it where I've just clicked, which is the neck, the and the cheeks. Make sure that that is put on smooth. Lastly, next, you want to choose down-turned mouth. He's got it's not pouty, but it's downturned. You want to make sure that you can fiddle with it a little bit later, but I think the downturned one that I chose is probably the best. Now, looking at the photo, his ears, they're not too big, not too small, sort of quite normal, really. You want to just sort of fiddle with them so that the tops are sticking out a little bit and then the bottoms are sticking out a little bit, but the middle goes in. Okay, we're moving on to the nose now. Start with the bridge of the nose. He's got a sort of, it's not narrow, not sort of like Michael Jackson-esque, but it's kind of like, it's the same width all the way down. It's kind of like, it's thin at the top, thin at the bottom. It doesn't get sort of bigger along the bridge. The nostrils, they don't flare out too much, but they're sort of quite flat. Using the photo that I'm using, they don't sort of flare up and go all pointy. They're quite flat. And again, with the cheekbones and things like that, they're not too defined. They're just sort of, you need to pinch them and move them around a little bit just to sort of get a bit more definition in the cheekbones. Because again, in the photo, he's quite youngish, so they're not all droopy and saggy like an old man. Now, if you look at his eyes, especially in this photo, they are really wide. It's almost sort of like a piercing sort of look. So you want to open his eyelids as much as possible, and then choose just the average eyebrows. He's got normal, they're not sort of too pointy, not too sharp or anything like that. So choose the average eyebrows, get his eyes quite open. He doesn't look shocked, he just kind of looks like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, just open eyes. And again, fiddle with the eyes, make sure that you get them sort of in the right position. They're slightly sort of angled, pointing more down inwards, and they're a pale sort of blue colour, so choose the pale blue eye colour. Next, with his mouth, you want to sort of change the lips around. Like I said, I've chosen downturned one. But if you fiddle with the actual lips themselves, you want to sort of make the bottom lips in the middle slightly bigger, but turn the corners down. So it's almost like he's not angry, but he's just got sort of a bit of a resting, well, they call it in girls a resting bitch face. He's got a little bit of a moody sort of face. So make sure that you get the lips the right way. Pump up the bottom one so that, because it's a little bit puffy in the middle, and then down turn the corners so that he's a bit sort of moody. Next, with the chin, he's got a very square, flat bottom bit of his chin. You want to sort of square that off and bring it up a bit. It's not pointy at all if you look at the photo. It's really kind of flat and square. You can do that with the jaw and the cheekbone. Not the cheekbones, but the jaw, the side bits. You want to get them sort of quite angular as well. He's got quite it's very sort of, again, angular, quite a sharp, angled sort of chin and jaw. going back to the eyes, you can actually change the sort of the type. So if you press T, you get into the sort of choice of eyes that you want for him. Now, again, like I said earlier, he's got quite piercing eyes. They're quite sort of like open and more. I think the best one is Alert 2. The reason being, again, because they're open and piercing. They're not kind of like evil looking, and they're not sort of focusing on something there, but they are kind of just open, basically. So choose that. That's the one that I chose for his eyes. Okay, you want to now choose the type of nose again. So press T on the actual nose. Again, there's the Michael Jackson one. You don't want pug nose or wide or anything like that. You kind of want a sort of a straight, flat, normal nose. And I think the very first one is probably the best, which is Handsome 1. Again, it's just going straight down. It's not crooked. It's not bent. It's not sort of angled or aligned. The nostrils look right. And again, there's no sort of lumps or bumps. One thing I noticed is if you go to his cheeks, press T. I chose smooth earlier, but the smooth one looks a little bit more wrinkly and pockmarked than the other one. So I choose weathered because it doesn't actually look that weathered. It looks more smoother than smooth, which is a bit weird. So I chose that one instead to make him more smooth skinned. So that's pretty much as close as I can get him to Eminem. Again, you want to fiddle around with things. I made the mouth a little bit smaller, changing the nose up. Just keep looking at the photo that you're using. Make sure that you keep looking at it and referring to it, lining it up against the one that you're doing. See what looks wrong, and don't sort of look at the whole picture. Look at things individually. So zoom in on the eyes, zoom in on the nose, see if it looks right, and see if there's something you could change to make it look better. If you wanted to change his hair, like I said, you can go up and choose like light brown or dirty blonde is probably the closest one. But again, for me, it just looks a bit too sort of... I'm not sure. It just doesn't look right. So, like I said, I went with the darker colour because it just looks better, especially for the photo that I'm using. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my Eminem. I think it's pretty good. I don't think he's too far off, to be honest. Especially the photo that I'm using. Again, people and celebrities and anyone looks different in every kind of photo. Here, the nose is a bit funny, so I'll probably just make the nostrils a bit wider just so that they don't look so pinched when he looks up. But you're going to be seeing the character mainly face on anyway. He's not going to be sort of trying to sniff the air. So, but if you like this video, please make sure you leave a like, type up a couple of comments and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I think I've just hit 200 subscribers, which is awesome. So any more, the better. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. High five. Whoopsh.